Hi there and hello. 今日の動画では Not WONK no Bout Foreverness について話してます. So, Not WONK is currently a two-piece band from Hokkaido. The lineup features Akimu Takahashi on the drums and then also Shuhei Kato on everything else. And also, can I just say that their band profile pic is so clean, especially Shuhei in that Kamen Rider fit. I'm really liking it. Anyway, Bout Foreverness is the band's fifth album, and kind of genre style-wise, it is all over the place. Which is definitely not surprising, given that their previous album, Dinam, was like this too, with a lot more of an overarching rock influence. So here on this album, we see lots of genres, such as jazz, rock, pop, twee, neo-soul, samba, doo-wop, country, bossa nova, and of course shoegaze. And the way it just all works and sounds like one cohesive album is just crazy and just magic, I think. I think this album definitely sounds like a real improvement over their previous one, and I think that's mainly because it is a lot more particular and focused in how it wants to achieve its kind of sonic goals a little bit. I think the first indication of this to me is that this album is a lot shorter than their previous one. I will admit, Dinam kind of dragged a bit. However, that's also just because I found it a little exhausting, just because a lot of the songs were actually multiple songs, despite only being like maybe 4 to 6 minutes long. So for instance, the very first song on that album is like 4 songs in one. It just kind of wears you out with how much it changes. I just feel like having to adjust your ears to each new style just kind of is tiring. Luckily, none of that is present on this album, which I am very happy about. So to me, this album is much more focused on very specific moments, such as the jazzier movements on the song Same Corner, and I absolutely love that choice. Like some of the songs in the band's earlier discography, Same Corner also features these sort of musical movements as it transitions from one part to the next. In particular, this song features this sort of like neo-soul jazz fusion breakdown towards the middle of the song as it moves into that next movement, and I love how that sounds so much, and it's played beautifully. And on top of that too, this album just features all kind of musical accompaniments such as horns, background female vocals, and a flute player. I also feel pretty confident in saying that this album continues to prove that Shuhei Kato is just one of the best vocalists alive, I feel like, though of course that is not to discount Akimu Takahashi, who is doing a fantastic job on the percussion across this entire album. In particular, I think the very subtle bossa nova drum work on the song Embrace Me is just sublime. While he can come up with very fast-paced percussion for his songs, a lot of the songs are actually much more slower paced, and they really take their time to kind of be more of a slow burn. I think the song Changed is a perfect example of this. For that reason, it really reminds me of a song that could be on Orville Peck's album Pony, in that it is a very art rock, art country sort of song. I just love some of the lyrics on the song too, which I would like to go over now. So I know I like to go over lots of lyrics, and I plan to in this video, so I just want to start off with the opening verse on this song, and it starts with, "Places never lose their time. Time will stain a wall. Tashikana dakeja unazukezu ni. I've been waiting for something will never come." A lot of Shuhei's lyrics are very poetic, and I think that's a really nice example of it too. And that song is just a lot of you've changed, I've changed. What are we going to do about that? And I like that a lot. On top of being a fantastic singer, Shuhei is a great songwriter too. Another song on the album is called Some of You, and this song is a very existential noise lounge rock number. This has some of my favorite lyrics on the album, and I love the way it's sung. I don't want to go over it here because it would take way too long, and there is another song I'd really like to cover instead. One thing I will say is that I really love the middle chunk of this album. I would say that the middle 3 to 4 songs are just absolutely killer and fantastic in every way. They are perfect, and they are just such earworms that I just can't stop thinking about them, which is kind of why I'm making this video so soon after this album came out, because I just needed to talk about it. It's so fantastic. Another song I'd like to talk about is the final one on the album, which is called Asshole. So Asshole was actually released as a single in 2024, and it is much expanded upon here on this album. This is one of the saddest and probably most downtrodden songs on the album. Of course, I would like to go over the lyrics for this one too. Please note though, I am kind of skating around the song just to highlight some of my favorite examples, because it's pretty long. It's a 7-minute song, so there's a lot to go over. So I just want to focus on favorite 3 verses and the chorus and blah 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 blah. So Here we go. Asshole, 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 asshole. I'll call you an asshole unless you quit your job. Frozen tide came in, soon went out. Don't take my pleasure. I'll call you an asshole unless you quit your job. Keep in touch if you need. So I really like that, and I really wanted to highlight it because you can tell that he is so mad, so upset, and so over something or someone. And because of that, he keeps calling them asshole. However, at the very end there, he still says, keep in touch if you need. So it seems like to me that Shuhei is like so over it, but there's still a part of him that wants to make something work and is maybe just saying this for appearances and maybe is still longing for this connection that is about to be severed, maybe mutually or maybe only by one participant. And something I absolutely love are the final two sentences of this song and thereby this album, and it's the following. Deep down, I want to leave before you leave. Deep down, the way we are will be under trees. And I just think this is an absolutely killer final line, and I think it has two meanings. One is very surface level, in my opinion. He wants to break up with this other person before they break up with him. And honestly, I feel that in my soul. And so my second interpretation is kind of in the complete opposite direction. Maybe, if you really think about it, he wants to die before this other person dies and would like to be buried alongside that other person. And the reason that he wants to die before this other person is because he himself does not want to actually experience watching them die or having to live with that for however much longer, because he would just be so heartbroken and probably not know how to properly deal with that either. All of that makes me think that this song is very bitter and it's also very sweet, but I wouldn't call it bitter sweet. I feel like there are these two interpretations of it. Because of that, I really like how this song is written. I think it is cool when a song or an album can have many interpretations depending on who's listening to it. And I think Shuhei really pulled that off well across this entire album, frankly. The last 1 to 2 minutes of this song are pretty much just drum and bass of the two lead members just kind of plays out for the last minute or two of this song. I also think that the lo-fi singing and whistling as well as random garbled interjections really sell the sort of bitterness side of this song. And yeah, closing remarks on this one is that this is just an absolutely killer end song and a perfect way to end an album, and they rocked it. They really rocked it. And I would also like to quickly talk about the album cover too. I really like it, and I think it really represents the theme of this album very well. As you can see in the photo, this wall is about to get a brand new coat of paint. It was white, it is now blue, and so to me, that signifies that a change is happening. It is all out with the old, in with the new, and it's still ongoing, it's still in progress, and it is something that is going to take some time to work on. As he's prepping for the wall, he is covering it up. He is taking all of the necessary precautions to make sure that there is no mess made and that everything is clean and orderly and just as it should be. And like I said, I love how that represents this album, and I really want you to check this one out. I think it is fantastic. I think if you love artists like Clairo, MGMT, May Simonis, Supercar, Ululu, or even Aimer, you would really like this album too, and just their music in general. It's my opinion that all of the instruments sound so purposeful and intricate, and there's so much going on, and I'm having so much fun close listening each time I listen to this album, just to kind of see what I've missed, because there's so much happening. You are going to miss a lot, and it is so much fun and so challenging to kind of come back and see what else is there. You start digging and you always get rewarded. This is such a fascinating album with so many layers and also lyrical insightfulness that I'm just having a lot of fun listening to this entire album. If you do like this album, I would really recommend checking out their previous one called Demon, if that's what we're going with. It's very similar to this one, however, it is much more maximalist in its approach to the instrumentals. I think you'd still like it a lot. It's still very similar, and Shuhei still sounds fantastic vocally on it too. So I have no real con section for this video. I really like everything here. I don't quite think it's a perfect album per se. I'm not a huge fan of the first two songs. I do like them a lot, but I think they just need to grow on me a little bit more. And since this album came out so recently, I think that will take some time. I think I want to give this a 10 out of 10. I like everything here. I love the singing. I love the instrumentals. I love the flow of the album. I like the mixing. I like the intent. I like all of the interpretable features of the album. I love the cover. There is nothing I don't like, and I just think this album is going to age very well for me and very well with me. And yeah, so I like it a lot, and I think you should check this out. It's a perfect 10. Not Wonk does it again. And if this ever comes out on vinyl, I'd love to get my hands on it. Demon is on vinyl, and I've been trying to source it for years, but have had no real luck. Though to be fair, I'm not trying super hard, but I would still like it. So that is the review. Thank you for watching. I hope you take it easy, and I hope you check this album out. I think it's very deserving of your time. So thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day.